What's happening, everybody? This is Aaron with Oklahoma Fishing and Adventure, and today, you can see, I'm sitting in front of my computer, and I'm going to show you how I find fishing spots before I even head to the water. Alright guys, here we are. I'm going to share my computer screen here, and we're going to get started. So, we're going to start here in Eufaula Lake, here in central Oklahoma. Basically, what I'm going to show you is I'm going to show you first on Google Earth. Google Maps. I'm going to show you on Google Maps kind of what I'm looking for. Now, the reason why I'm using Google Maps and not Google Earth, this is important, is the Google map that is current right now shows the lake low. So everything that I'm doing here with Google Earth, Google Maps, we're trying to find low water. What we're trying to do is we're trying to find what it would look like if it were low, so that we can find some hidden gems that then when the water level is normal, we've got a spot to go check out. So that's going to be the big difference. Google Maps, you cannot select the date. It's just kind of there. On Google Earth, if you're using the Google Earth Pro, which is the program that you download to your computer, that one you can actually look back in time. Normally there's about 20 different timestamps that you can go back and look at maps, so typically you can find one where they're low. But we're going to get started here because I just found something a few minutes ago that was pretty impressive that I didn't know was here. We are looking at Eufaula. We're going to focus on this area right here because I found some pretty cool stuff. It is way up here. So now I'm going to show you Navionics. So Navionics, it is a topographical map, basically, of what's going on under the water. So when I'm using it, I'm just looking for generic spots. So like right here, we're going to see a few things going on. So the most important thing is this is going to show you where you have deep water close to shallow water. Now this is relative, depending on the lake you fish. Eufaula is not a really deep lake, but you have some lakes that are, 30, 40 foot. Uji, for instance, is like 40 foot deep in the most part. So even a foot or two water depth would be big. Basically what that does is that allows all the fish to move to a different depth to get to a different water temperature, oxygen level in the water, any of that stuff, without having to go very far. So you'll see that fish do that an awful lot. So what I'm going to focus in on is here we got the river channel, how it comes up. And if you look, the river channel, it bends and brushes up against shallow water, in this case the bank, several occasions. So what's important here is this is main lake as well. So we have that where that brush is up against this, and we have the contour lines that are real close together, which is telling us that, yeah, this is a quick drop off, very deep, steep slope. Same thing coming over here, you got a river bend coming in this way where it brushes up against. I'm not saying that I would just stop and fish these, but I would definitely run by with side imaging and see what there is there, because you don't want just that. You're going to want something on it. You're going to want a brush pile, or you're going to want something for those fish to stop on. Otherwise, they're just going to hit it and move. Same thing, we got a bend here, and we got that same thing. Now here we have a few little points coming off of it that look really nice. So yeah, even back in here, we got some flooded timber with deep water close by, so that's someplace I'd probably stop and throw a spinnerbait or a square bill or something. But anyway, we're going to look further on this way. So we have this little guy here that is basically almost an island. No, that's not what I want. Okay. So we got this guy right here that we got this. Doesn't look like much. Real shallow point. I mean, we got 4 foot on top, so we got a nice big flat there, but then drops off fairly quickly and brushes right up against the river channel. So you look at this and you'll be like, okay, it's a point, nothing too big. Why would I be talking about it? Well, because I discovered something whenever I was using Google Maps a little bit ago, that there's actually some pretty cool stuff down here. So we'll do the same thing. We'll come in here. This is that same point. Look at all these trees, guys. We got laydowns. You know, we got all of these laydowns out here. I believe there's going to be some standing timber out here as well. I mean, we got goes from sand. You can see that's pretty much all sand and dirt. To we got rocks down here and trees all over the ends of it. Those trees are going to be out here at the very edge where that starts dropping off. I'm telling you guys, that's going to hold fish. That's going to hold fish probably year-round, just because you have access to that deep water. So that's really cool. So that's just how you use the two together. You're going to find a spot, something that looks kind of cool, and then you're going to bring up the other map and just see what it looks like. So the next one is going to be the same way. I'm going to use Google Maps, pull it back up, and then come back to Navionics after that, because I want to show you something that's pretty cool. So we'll zoom out. Now, if you look along here, I'm not going to go through and check every one of these. I mean, it looks like there's a few things here and there, but most of this stuff is just going to be dead water. We're not looking for dead water. We want to find either isolated structure. Yeah, see, there's something. So I'm seeing some stuff here. So yeah, we got some, looks like some more laydowns down in here. But this dock right here by itself, if that doesn't tell you, you know, that that's the only thing in the area, I don't know what is. I mean, you've got a few little things, it looks like some trees, and then you've got a dock out in the middle of nowhere. I'm probably going to stop and flip that dock. I'm probably going to throw something at the bottom of it and drag around and see what's out there. But that's not what I'm wanting to show you. Okay, so I found it, guys. So this is another spot that really shouldn't be anything big. I'm trying to figure out, I think it's this point here. Yeah, fairly positive it's that point there. Yeah. So when looking at this guy, bring this over here and let's zoom in a little bit. So guys, we have a point. We just got a sandy, muddy point, few trees on it, nothing big until you come out here. This to me looks like a house. This looks like it's an old foundation, an old structure. You got a few other things out here. Guys, that's gonna hold fish. That's gonna hold fish year round. And if we come in here, there's nothing marked on Navionics, and a lot of times there is. A lot of times it'll tell you that, hey, there's a structure here. Now it does warn you of flooded timber, so that is definitely what we were seeing over here. Is this is stick-ups. We got a few laydowns. Most of them are stick-ups, but that just looks like a building to me, and that's going to be out here on the end of this point. And once again, you have short distance to travel to come down here into deep water and come up to shallow water. Guys, I'm telling you, I would fish that. I would fish that every time I pass a spot. I would stop and I would fish that. Depending on how deep it was would change how I fished it, but I mean, that is insane. I had no idea that was there, and wouldn't have had I not come in here and started looking at this. So I want to show you now on Google Earth Pro. So let me pull that up now. This is basically the Google Maps, but shows you the whole globe. Cool thing is you can set waypoints. You can show waypoints, you can mark them. You'll see here, I have a ton of waypoints saved on here, because what I'll do is I'll back up from my fish finders and put them in here. So once again, anytime I'm looking around, now I know where my existing marks are, and then I can go back and find them later. So you'll see most of mine have a little fish icon. That's stuff that I've marked previously. This little guy here is what I marked earlier. This is how I found that that foundation. So what I did is I just marked it. So now I can come back to it at any given time. Also, I can export these. These are saved over here. You can see I got hundreds of them. Oh, there we go. You can export all of this stuff. Yeah. And so this is how I manage my waypoints. So I'll take the waypoints off my fish finders. I'll come in here, put them on my computer, immediately copy them over to Google Earth Pro. What that does is that saves them. They're always here now. I'll always have them. And then what's cool is you can export, I think it's a WPX file that you can export that most fish finders will take. And even if they won't, I use a program called GPS Babel. GPS Babel will take pretty much any file and convert it to whatever you need. Now, you can mark waypoints like I just showed you here, but then what is cool is you can go right up here to this icon, and now look at what that looks like under normal water depth. You wouldn't even know that was there. You got some trees out here still, but you wouldn't even know that foundation is there. So what I did is up here we have this button. This allows you to go back in time. So it's going to open up this bar here, and everywhere there is a line, that is a new image. And that'll show you what it was at that time. So you'll see we're at February 2017 right now. So if we go back to the next image, which is February 20 of 2014. So now you can see we're a little lower than what I just showed you, and you can start to see the lines of that foundation. So guys, this is super powerful. These are the tools that every fisherman should use. Today I basically showed you what I used when I was bass fishing. Now this works with everything. So while we're here, one more thing. We're going to take a trip up to 10 Killer Lake. I love 10 Killer Lake. Okay, so it's still a little low. So this area right here, it's main lake, Chicken Creek, yeah, so up here. So this is your main lake, that's Burnt Cabin area there. So if we go back to Navionics, there is a pretty cool formation that happens out here. So here we go. This is known as Sand Bass Bay. And this is just a huge bay. I mean, it is literally huge, guys. I bet that's a couple miles across, with all these points that come out in like fingers. And what that does is, once again, I've been preaching this whole time, fish want to move deep to shallow, shallow to deep, in as short of a distance as they can. That's what this does. I mean, this one point right here, you can see comes out. Doesn't even look like there's, I mean, this little finger is it. Doesn't look like there should be a point here, but look at what happens underwater. And you can see on the Navionics, this spot right here is a spot that somebody marked, yeah, said that there's a hump. We got the same thing here. Someone's marked, there's a point. I mean, that's pretty self-explanatory. I guess this one shows a point as well, yeah. So someone marked all this. So, yeah, looking at the map here, it doesn't look like there would be anything at all. But you have some really cool, too many windows open, really cool formations out here. Back in here, yeah, I don't know what that is. A fishing facility. I guess those are fish finder. Yeah, those are brush piles, guys. So Navionics does now show brush piles, because I've actually caught a few fish. Real shallow, falls off. This is one where it said relative. You don't have real deep water out here, but you're only in a couple feet up here. So if the water level was low, keep forgetting, guys. Yeah, you can see those are those attractors that are on the Navionics. So we've got some fish off those as well. Yeah, some out here. There's some dark stuff. So anyway, guys, that's what we're doing. The video's going too long. I didn't plan on making a very long video. But this is how I do it. This works for me. I know it works for a lot of other people. I didn't create this by any means. I stumbled across it, I believe, from YouTube as well, on how to prepare for tournaments whenever I was tournament fishing. Now, there is one thing though. I'm wanting to make a second video off of this that I show you. If I zoom out here, I fish northeastern Oklahoma. I fish Grand, Hudson, Skytook, Keystone, Oologah, stuff like that. But if you look, I've got all of these waypoints from all over the map. I mean, way out here, what do we got? Foss. I've never been to Foss Reservoir, but I've got waypoints on it. So part 2 of this video is going to be me showing you why I use Google Earth Pro. Because it allows me to get information. I'm going to show you where I get this information. I'm going to show you how you can put it in here and then how you can move that to your fish finders. So on part 2, I'm going to give you a secret that I really thought long and hard about. I wasn't planning on doing, but I think it'll be very beneficial to everybody. And I mean, it's public information. It's just not a lot of people know where to look. So I'll show you how you can get all that information, load up your Google Earth Pro to look just like mine, and then you can move that straight to your fish finder. So anyway guys, be sure and hit the like button. You're going to want to subscribe if you haven't, because this part 2, if you're an Oklahoma fisherman, you're not going to want to miss. Alright guys, I appreciate it. We'll catch you on the next one.